Hey, welcome to my channel. So basically this video is going to be talking about my manga. I finally started one to actually practice the manga style and the paneling and stuff, and I did post the first chapter. You can check it out. I'll leave the links down below and my social media and stuff. And this video is basically for the people who've asked me over on Instagram and Facebook about stuff. Some questions, I gathered some questions, only 10, but they will be having every single thing you would ask about, I'm pretty sure, because I've been asking these questions and some of those questions look different or sound different than what you have in mind, but it's still the same meaning and it's still gonna give you the same answer and the right answer, at least what I did, and maybe not the right thing, but like the thing that I did and worked for me. So hopefully this is going to be helpful. And yes, there are only 10. I didn't gather every single question in the world, but these are the most asked questions, and these are probably, in my opinion, the most important things, bits and pieces here and there that people ask in a different way, and they don't realize that this is literally asked 10 times before they did ask it, but in a different way. I'm not good with words, so let's just get into it. So I'll just get into it. Okay. First question: why did you choose manga and not comic books? And should I choose manga or comic books? Okay. There is a lot of noise in the street, but I'm gonna pretend this doesn't exist. Manga or comic books. It depends on what you wanna convey to people. If you're really good with realism or really good with cartoons, and this is what you wanna, like, you want one of those two to be the main thing, like if you want to make it a cartoon or an animation, Western animation especially, you probably should go with comic books. But the reason to why I didn't choose comic books is because of the heavy coloring and heavy shading, and it's either very cartoony or very realistic. And if you go around and read most of the comic books that are out there, like Western comic books, I'm almost dying. Okay, if you read Western comic books, you're gonna see it's one of those two. It's either cartoon or realism, and always there's coloring. I've never seen a comic without coloring, unless their shading is like really heavy shading, and it's really realistic. It's so realistic to the point that it just, no, this is not my thing. Like, my characters are not good to be like real people, because they have a lot of flaws, and some of them have a lot of perfections that I added to them intentionally. So they can't really be real people, because I'm not looking at this to be a cartoon or an animation or like a short movie or something. I'm expecting a long series that is more realistic. So it's either gonna be a heavy human drama TV show or a long anime or something. Not the series that I'm working on, but like my main series that I'm practicing for. So I did choose manga because, first off, I'm not gonna color every single page. It's no, okay? And when I started traditional, which is probably the next question or something. So I didn't have good colors, and I couldn't waste my time coloring on my phone because I didn't get a digital tablet up until like probably a few days ago. So yeah, it wasn't an option. It was so not an option. But you choose your thing. Like, you see what you want to make with your story. Do you want to make it a show? Do you want to make it an anime? Do you expect your series to be read as a novel, or do you expect it to be read, or you want it to be read as a, how do you explain this, like as an animatic, but it's like screen caps of this animatic? That's what manga is basically. So yeah, I said basically way too many times. I need to learn some new words. My vocabulary is running low. Okay, second question: what did you use to draw your manga? Materials and or programs? I'm gonna be writing my programs down there, whether if it's for recording, editing, or my drawing programs, because I just got a tablet, so I'm gonna be using programs I've been saving for a long time. But for my first chapter, it was fully digital, like drawing and inking wise, but the toning and stuff and paneling, like the boxes and stuff, were drawn on the phone on Ibis Paint or Ibis Paint. It's really good. It has a lot of materials, but I used a little bit of materials from medibang, and I would not recommend medibang on phone. I would so recommend it on like a computer or a laptop. But on a phone, if your phone is really tiny, you're gonna just be so annoyed at how much things you need to zoom in for and zoom out for. So yeah, just download it on a computer or a laptop. And for my first chapter, again, it was traditional, so I used just basic gel pen, which, by the way, for one chapter, I used up 2 gel pens, so I wouldn't recommend using gel pens. But I was using A4 paper, like printer paper, and I couldn't use like actual manga pens, like dip in pens and stuff, because the paper wouldn't handle all this. But I would recommend you to use poster board, and actual dip in pens, because it saves you so much money and so much time. What else? Yeah, for the second chapter and for the upcoming chapters, I'm going to be using a tablet, Huion tablet 420, and up until now, I'm using medibang Pro, but the thing is, you're gonna need some time to actually get used to medibang, so just don't get frustrated, but it's really, really helpful. So yeah, medibang and Huion 420, but for the first chapter I've been using paper, like printer paper and gel pens. Yep. Okay, and this question kind of ties into the second question, the third question, which is, should I go digital or traditional if I want to make a manga? This is a question I've been asking, my friends been asking, almost everyone have been asking everywhere, and I'm literally talking. Okay. Digital or traditional? Just a quick tip. If you want to be really quick, not focus on little details, you want to put a story out and not focus too much on the art or like symmetry and stuff, or like really, really heavy detailing, I would say traditional. Please, if you care about being fast and just giving a story out, traditional. So recommended to go traditional. But if you focus on like getting better at certain angles or perspective, or let's say a certain way of inking or a certain way of portraying facial proportions stuff, paneling that looks kind of professional even if you're not a professional, I would say go digital. I wanted to start this thing or this project because I wanted to be better artist, like drawing wise, and because I've been always a writer, not an artist. I just only started drawing maybe like 2 years ago, maybe even less than 2 years, not more. So I needed to improve my drawing skills. So I didn't have a tablet up until like less than a month, but now I have it, and that's my plan. It's like to continue digital. So yeah, I've given you my main recommendation. You can do whatever you want, but I think generally if you want to put a story out and just get done with the thing, like just to stick to a certain like schedule to yourself, like monthly or weekly or every 2 weeks, to finish a chapter every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I would say traditional. But because digital is so much time consuming, because you can zoom in forever and ever and ever for days and you won't be done, and you'll keep on adding details, unnecessary details that people are probably not gonna see. But I'm trying to improve my drawing skills, so see what you want to improve and choose one. Fourth question. Oh my god, it's already 9 minutes. Okay. What genre is best to start with if I'll be making a manga to practice? Okay, I'm reading the questions. I can't even read my own handwriting, which is fantastic. Okay, what genre is best to start with it if I'll be making a manga to practice? I would say any. I don't know. Okay, absolutely. If you're trying to make a manga to practice like facial reactions, expressions and stuff, and like quality of art, I would say go maybe psychological. horror, because you'll experiment a lot more and you'll focus on a lot more things, and you're gonna be focusing on materials and like textures and stuff, which is really, really helpful and important. So it's a good thing. But if you're asking for a legit advice though, like a thing that I learned from reading too much manga, I would say shoujo. And it's a joke because I don't like shoujo. But the way, if you read shonen and shoujo and compare it paneling wise and like dialogue wise, like how many bubbles are in one page, how many words are in one page, you will find that shoujo is so much more creative in using panels and page spreads are well thought out. Like they're really thinking in this thing. Like they're looking at the page and thinking of the best way to portray a certain feeling or a certain emotion, whether if it's anger, happiness, all of those emotions in general, fear and stuff. In shonen, you will find that the paneling is so simple, it rarely ever goes crazy unless there's like a fighting scene happening and they're trying to show you from all angles. But again, if you go through the shonen things, they are not really drawing the fighting scenes as much as they're trying to make it move, so they draw more lines than they, like speed lines, than they actually draw the thing. So if you want to learn paneling really quickly, I would advise you to go shoujo. It's really good. It's really good paneling wise and dialogue wise. They don't use too much dialogue. I've seen some mangas do this, but they actually they put some drawings out there for you to have fun reading and not just feel like you're reading a novel, which is another reason that you should focus on dialogue, because you're making the reader read a manga, a comic, or whatever, not a novel. So yeah. Fifth question, how long have you been drawing and or writing for? I just answered this, I'm pretty sure. I've been drawing for less than 2 years, maybe 2 years, maybe exactly 2 years, but not more. But I've been writing basically since I was able to hold a pencil and actually talk, which was like really early, because I've been studying so much even before school started and before kindergarten. So I was able to talk and write simple stuff from maybe when I was 3 years and 3 years and a half, which is crazy. So I started writing really early, and that's why I developed my writing so much more than drawing, and that's why I chose to practice drawing and go digital more than I should practice my writing or storytelling, because that's what I've been doing all my life. I don't know if this is a helpful thing to know, but I would just say, like, see what you're good at and and try to improve the thing that is lacking or you're lacking. Like, I lack drawing skill, which is obvious because my art skills are like horrible. But yeah, so see what you're lacking and try to improve it. Sixth question, do you draw tone? Do you? Oh, sorry. Do you draw, tone, translate, and edit by yourself, or do you have a partner? Okay, for some reason my voice really hates me today and it just won't let me talk, so I had to stop the recording multiple times. Okay, yes, I did draw, tone, translate, and edit by myself. I'm not perfectly good at English, and my Arabic is kind of so much better, because aside from being my first language, I've been writing in it for so long. I've been reading in it for so long, so I naturally know I have wider vocabulary in Arabic than English, so it's very clear. But yes, I've been doing all of this on my own because, first of all, I'm a lone wolf, and second of all, I don't think I have anyone that really understands my point of view. So if I told someone, I want to make this scene dramatic, or I want to make this scene kind of dark, so probably they wouldn't understand, like, yeah, so you want me to put more tone or to put less tone? So I can't handle some of those questions, so I can't really have a partner. I'm so sorry for making you feel like you have to do more work, but you don't have to translate your stories. But I had to translate it because most of the people who read manga or read generally on this app are people who read English. Yeah, it's kind of rare to find an Arabic story there. Seventh question, how did you overcome the fear and nervousness of posting your work online? I'm numb. Okay, I'm not so numb, but it's kind of, I got used to criticism because I've been writing for so long again, and I had a lot of critiques and harsh ones, especially because if you're writing, people can see every single flaw. You can't really hide it from the camera angle or fix it from like a certain way. No, you post the thing, people read the thing, and if they are really honest, they're gonna give you every single critique they have. So I kind of got used to critiquing, and also I started actually asking for critiques. So it was like a helpful thing for me to know in general. So I wasn't saying no, I was mostly saying, yeah, please, if you have a critique, put it down there. I would be so thankful. So I got used to it from this point, but if you're asking how should you get used to it, I would probably recommend you, if you're if your skin is really thick and you can take some harsh words, you can put it out there and take the critique you want or the critique that you think is going to be helpful and apply it. If you don't want critiques, you just turn off comments and that's it. You just post a thing and see like how many people maybe see it, and from those people who saw it, how many liked it. Don't say that didn't have 1,000 likes, so it's not good, because you're probably not seen as much as other people are. So just see if 10 people saw it and 10 people liked it, it's probably really good. So go ahead, post a thing, because you're doing it for yourself's sake, not for people's critiques. Just take the thing that you want and leave. You don't need to take every single critique, because some critiques are just not helpful, so just throw them away. 8. What does it take, or what do I need to start working on my manga? Absolutely nothing. Basically just to have the story, and that's it. For a lot of people, which is probably why this video is so long, is because I talk a lot, but this really needs a little bit of talking here. A lot of people, and I was one of them, I was so worried about my art skills not meeting my writing skills or my storytelling skills before I started my manga. And literally, I want to just tell you, I want to put it out there for anyone who is wondering or like kind of nervous because of this. Please start doing the thing. If you have a story, if you have your characters down, if you are worried about your art style or your art like drawing skills, yeah, sure, practice and have references and learn and stuff and do your best, but I want to tell you that if you should be worried of anything in this world, if anything is scary and just fearful in this industry, it's not really the drawing skill, it's more of directing and paneling. You need to have a lot of references from a lot of mangas on how they panel things and certain situations, how do they show it off by paneling and using tones. Even if your drawing skills are horrible, even if you started drawing like 3 months ago or something, you still can make a manga. If your drawing skills are bad, you still can make a manga. It's just you need to know how to direct your stuff, your scenes, as if you're a movie director or a studio that makes anime or makes cartoons. You need to know handling a lot more than you need to know drawing as like a skill. So study paneling and study directing. It's so much more helpful than just knowing how to draw good looking faces and good looking backgrounds from different places in different countries and different ways of drawing like a certain eye or a certain hair, and you completely forget paneling and just directing. It's so much more important. Focus on it so much more than focusing on just growing your skill drawing and just throwing this away. Because this what got me stuck to take so long, because the storyboarding to take so long to actually post the thing, because the storyboarding phase, I thought it was so much more easier than this, because I have the story and I have the scenes and that's it. No, I needed to focus on how I should portray the scenes in a way that people can read it and understand what is happening, and their eye can flow more naturally to what I imagined it if it was a show or if it was an anime. So if you're gonna read mangas from your own genre and different genres, especially different genres, because they have a lot more emotions they show in different chapters and different stories. So study their paneling and study where they put the bubbles, or like put the bubbles. My peas. Oh my god. Where they put the bubbles and where they place the character and how do they show the background. Please study from mangas that you like their either directing ways or their style, or you actually genuinely like the story. So just study from those things, because it's gonna be so much more helpful if you study from something you like, because it's probably your role model. So yeah, even if it's not the same genre, you're gonna still have a lot of help and a lot of rescue from those certain emotions they show from paneling. 9. What's the best website to post my English? Okay. Every website is good, but it depends on the language. I'm horrible at giving advice. I don't know why I made this video, but I needed one before I posted my thing and I didn't find any, so I made one for people who are searching for it. Tabpass and Webtoons. Webtoons is kind of for comics, and you see manhwas is really advertised like this, but if you have a manga and you post it in there, it's still so much helpful. It's just you have to focus that you need to post JPEG files, and you need like certain size for a page. It's all written for when you actually want to post the thing. That what took me a lot of time to get used to in the first chapter, because I had to edit every single page again, like make it smaller or a little bit smaller and save it in a certain way. So there's a lot of good websites, but those are the most known ones, and you don't get money from them until like actual editor gets to you, like contacts you and stuff. But please don't worry about the money, you're still learning, so just take the learning phase to its fullest and learn everything you can, because if an editor reaches you, you need to be acknowledging every single bit of your story. So take this phase to its fullest, like just learn. Again, Webtoons and Tapas, they are good for your stuff. The last question. Okay, finally. It's 22 minutes. Okay. If I want to make a manga, what's the best genre to read, as in to learn how to place things, panel stuff, and know more about manga in general? This question, it took me quite a long time to actually think of an answer to, even though I just answered something very similar to it. Okay, if you want to make a manga, what's the best genre you can read to learn how to place things? Again, I so recommend shoujo and seinen and psychological. These three are fantastic in the way they show mood, emotion, dialogue, and most importantly, the way they panel stuff are fantastic. Even though a lot of shoujo stories are so similar story-wise, I would say it's so perfect. It's just perfect for you to learn paneling from, because even though they kind of show a very, very similar story, they still, every single time you see a certain paneling way that is different. Even when I was learning from paneling, like I would have references for certain pages and how they panel stuff, I would mix and match some stuff and I would make an absolutely different thing. So this is a page that I made. I'm pretty sure I didn't see something similar to this. Yes, the first half, like the upper half of this, you've probably seen a lot, but the other half, it's just, I don't think I've seen it before, because I mixed 3 or 4 pages and the way they paneled their stuff, because like dependent on the mood, and I tried to make it interesting. Even though my art skills were not the best, so the page didn't turn out perfect, but I still like it, not because of the art generally, but because the placement of the bubbles and the placement of the panels and how I showed the background and the characters equally. So I told you where they are and how the place looks like, sort of, and how the characters look like, their emotions or their reactions or how they look. You'll find that the girl in the middle, yes, it's a girl, O, her name is O, don't make fun of her name please. She's smaller, even though she's a main character. I wanted to show her from afar, so Sol on the side, on the left side, the boy with the ponytail, he's just so much, like he's popping at your face basically, because if you look at this, one of the things that you're gonna look at, like the first thing probably, is his face, because it's just right at your face. It's like, why is he so shooketh? And then you read, right? That's what I wanted. That's the flow that I wanted for the page. You read like the first panel and then you looking down and you just see this face and oh my god, what the hell happened? And then you see what happened or read what happened. So I would so recommend seinen, psychological, and shoujo because of the paneling. If you want to know like how to do the storytelling a lot properly than shoujo, I would say again seinen and psychological horror is good, but psychological, like as a genre on its own, it doesn't have to be horror, but like psychological in general is so good, because it gives you a lot of mystery and you kind of have to think about it. So yeah, dependent on your story of course, but yeah, that's my favorite thing, so that's what I'm gonna recommend the most, and that's what I learned from. You can read the first chapter and you can wait for the second chapter. I'm really close to finishing it, by the way, and I do have another video that is coming soon, but I wanted to post this first because a lot of people have been pressuring it on Facebook and on Instagram, especially in my DMs. My DMs are full of people asking the same question in different ways. These are the most asked questions, if not all of them, but in different ways. But these are all the answers. I'm going to put times, like the time frames in the description, and I'm going to put all the programs I use. So if you didn't remember a thing, or if you didn't remember an answer to a certain question, or you forgot to have a paper and a pen, everything will be put in the description, and check it out. And maybe check like my Instagram because I post a lot of my stuff in there, and yeah, that's it. Bye, I think. Love yourself because I love you, and bye.